When I tell you it is more information that's coming out about Nolan Wales, I just want to let you guys know, thank y'all for being on this journey, but it is so sad that Nolan Wales is gone. Something happened to our brother, y'all. Okay? They popped him behind the head and I believe put him in that water. It is something nefarious that's going on Hone Island. We know this is an island where little kids go and adults, a lot of these white adults are giving little kids alcohol and sugar boogers and Lord knows what else on that island. They are saying that, that island, that water is a dangerous type of water. Kids should not be going there. Actually, I think Horn Island need to be shut down. I think Horn Island need to be investigated. When you're hearing so many kids on Horn Island doing God knows what, it's demonic. Really, it is. So I have Nancy Grace. She has done another video with some more updates. The FBI is involved. You guys know they done cut Nolan neck, honey, and kept the neck and sent the body. They're trying to be funny. They know they needed the neck part to see any evidence of foul play, to see any evidence of strangulation. The state of Mississippi knows that we're trying to investigate the body because we believe that Nolan Wells was murdered. So they're like, nah, y'all ass is not getting this neck because this neck got too much evidence. We're going to wait for a while, wait for the neck to decompose a little bit more, and we'll hand it off to you guys when we can be for certain that you can't tell what's what. That's what they're doing. The same thing they were doing with that body. They're not slick. And do you guys want me to open up the phone lines tonight as well? If you guys do, press 4 and I will do it. So let's hear what Nancy got to say. I'm going to stop and reply because this is a reaction video. Thank you guys for tuning in. All right, so let me bring this up here. Come on, Nancy.
He had deep red subcutaneous markings.
Preliminary findings, and this is significant. Focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region.
All right, so people are saying they hear an echo. Is it an echo on you guys' end? Press 5 if you guys are hearing an echo. Thank you, Stephen. Stephen said it is a very bad echo. Is it a very bad echo on my end or the video end? Please let me know. Press 1 if it's my end when I'm talking. Press 3 if it is the video end. Do you hear echo on the video end? All right. So what I can do, I can stop that. I'm gonna add it back up here to see if it works this way. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so let's try it again. I don't know what that was about.
The etiology is unknown at this time. He said the body was received after the initial autopsy. He said the body had marked decomposition.
All right, do you guys still hear the audio doing an echo? Press 7 if you guys still hear the echo. All right, thank you, Don. Don said he does not hear any echo. All right, so do you guys still hear the echo? Let me know if you guys don't hear the echo anymore. Okay, please help me out. I need to know. Okay, so Anna says she still hear the echo. Lord, they did rituals on that brother. Yeah, they did. All right, certain people say they still hear the echo. Some of you guys say you don't. All right, some people, can you guys go out and come in? No, we do not hear it. Thank you. So the people, good to me. See, the people that's telling me an echo, they could be a whole op, right? They can be playing with me. You see how they do, y'all? Thank y'all. Press 2 if it sound good. You don't hear no echo when you hear Ben Crump talk. I'm talking about when Ben Crump talk. All right, so I'm going to play Ben Crump. All right.
Decompensation. Another limitation faced by this forensic pathologist was the absence of the anterior internal neck structures, the trachea and the laryngeal cartilage, the thyroid horn, and the hyoid bone were not received with the body. So he said that the throat was not received with the body when he got Nolan Wells' body in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy.
The only question that we have is what happened to our son. That is the only question. We have consistently been degraded by the public. There's been questions about our parenting, our GoFundMe, this, that, and other. I've been called a racist. I am a healthcare provider. And
I'm pissed off that you Americans out here will harm and say horrible things about a mother that's trying to get justice for a black son. Okay? So what is it with y'all? You feel like she's not worthy, she's not just to get justice for her black son because you just want her to accept what the white police in Mississippi said, no foul play, and just accept it and go on? You don't want black people to fight for their justice? That's what it is. Because anytime a black person fight for their justice, then, well, you're race baiting. Blah, blah, blah. Shut the hell up. Okay? Because it has a lot to do about the race, goddammit. If you treated us equally, we wouldn't have shit to complain about now, would we? All right? Oh, you're going to kiss me. You're going to piss me off and I want to get pissed off. Another thing I want to mention, y'all, is Ben Crump. Now, I've been seeing a lot of you black bitches. Ooh, I didn't mean to say that. I've been seeing a lot of you black people out here. Y'all want to talk about Ben Crump? Oh my God, he can't read. Why y'all got him up here? He can't read. Did y'all see black people saying that shit? I ain't see white people saying it, so y'all off the hook. I'm talking about the black coon motherfuckers, okay? Press 2 if y'all saw those black people out here doing it. The black Republicans, the black MAGA. I'll call their ass out. I ain't scared of their ass. Did y'all see that? They got the nerve to want to talk about Ben Crump, but at least he's doing something for a black family. What the fuck y'all doing? Y'all ain't doing nothing. And I know you ain't talking about Ben Crump, and you talking about he can't read. Goddamn Donald Trump is slow as I don't know what. Trump is slow as I don't know what, and you praised him, okay? Yeah, okay? Trump won't be able to read that shit. Put Trump up there. His ass would do worse reading than Ben Crump. And then, for the black bitches that's trying to say something about Ben reading, how you gonna talk about Ben reading when so many of the black community is illiterate? Your goddamn son can't read, your husband can't read. Please just shut the hell up. You always want to try to comfort people that want to stick up for black people and trying to get justice because you want to get approval by white people so fucking bad. You want to be accepted by their ass so bad. You want to be like them so bad. You ain't gonna never be white, ho. Okay? You got nappy hair like I got nappy hair. Okay? You gonna always have that 4C nappy ass hair. Okay? Let's go. I'm sorry.
take my job very seriously. I love everyone. And it's been difficult for us, but we are leaning into our faith, leaning into one another, also leaning into all of you.
You were saying family attorney Ben Crump, followed by Nolan Wells' mother, speaking. Dear Lord in heaven, what is wrong with people? If this were your child, wouldn't you want to know what happened? He goes out with friends. They all come back. He's dead. I don't understand the hate directed toward Nolan's family and to everyone.
Nancy, it's racism. They doing it towards you because you're standing up for a black family. It's racism, Nancy. Nancy don't want to accept it's racism. That's all this is. You know, they feel like black people are not worthy to get justice. They don't want people to speak up and support black people when they're in need and they're trying to get justice for their black bodies. It's racism because, Nancy, if this was a white boy, they would have no problem with you trying to get justice for a white boy's death. If this was a white girl, they have no problem with you getting justice. Nolan is a good guy, great GPA, never been in a jail. He's not a fucking thug. And I'm not trying to say that thugs' lives means less because they don't. Thugs are just as human as anybody else. But I know for some of y'all know how y'all do. Hell, the person in the White House, he's the biggest thug I know. But yeah, talk about that thug. Okay, and let's not talk about the thugs that riot the Capitol. All of them was damn thugs, and y'all still ride for them. Ooh, let me. The KKK, wasn't they all thugs too? Okay, oh, come on now.
Looking for answers. At this hour, I don't think anyone is guilty, but I do know that there is a conflict in the stories, and we are not stopping until we know what happened to Nolan Wells. So you can send all the hate and vitriol you want. Have at it. That from our friends over at NAACP.
That is so sad. And what do you guys think about this? They are sending Nancy Grace and anybody that touched this case hate mail. They are sending threats to people. They're talking bad about people, all because they don't believe that this was accident, all because I don't believe that that black boy drowned and I want to investigate. So now because I'm investigating, you want to hate me, you want to threaten me, all because I'm investigating in a black boy's death. That's racism right there. That's what that is.
Straight out to Joseph Scott Morgan. We got an all-star panel lined up to analyze what's happening at this hour. As we are learning, the FBI has swooped into this investigation. And that is not disparaging local law enforcement, although they did apparently jump the gun at the get-go and say no foul play suspected. Well, I suspect foul play because I don't know any differently. Maybe it will turn out to all be an accident. But as of right now, we need a full-on investigation. Joe Scott Morgan, before I give you a very, very long intro bio, where's the throat? I know we have deep red markings on the occipital bone that's in the back of the thank you. This is directly from the autopsy. We want you to see what the family has seen. Don't you think, Joe Scott Morgan, that the second medical examiner might need the throat to figure out what happened? I mean, Joe Scott, it's on fire, claims that Nolan Wells had been lynched, that he had been strangled, asphyxiated. Do I believe a lynching occurred? No, I do not believe that. But I do know I need to see the neck.
Yeah, and let me tell you where the neck is. Or the organs of the neck, as it's referred to. These neck structures are actually being held by the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office, and they don't just arbitrarily hold things like this, Nancy. This is something that would commonly go with the body when the body is released. So I deduce the fact that...
Did you hear that white man? He said that they don't normally hold stuff like this. It goes with the body. Of course the neck goes with the body. So why are Mississippi holding the neck? Hell, I would want Mississippi to tell me, I'm going to send y'all this body, but I'm not going to bring the neck attached. Let me know. Don't give me my son's body and you done cut his neck and you done kept the neck. I want my son's neck. Give me my son's neck. Give me my black son's neck right now. What are y'all doing to my black son's neck? Okay? You know, it's real messed up. It's real messed up. How would y'all like it if somebody kept y'all throats? y'all sons and y'all kids' throats. And they and Mississippi know damn well what we're up to. We're not hiding it. We're trying to figure out, did he was murdered. We're looking for it. And Mississippi is like, nope, I can't give you this because you may see the evidence that he was murdered. The state of Mississippi is trying to protect those white boys. They don't want this to be a murder. They want this to be a foul play. They want this to go away. They want this to be an accidental. So we are fighting against the state of Mississippi. We are fighting against the system because they don't want to press charges on their own white boys, and they don't want this to be a murder. So they're going to fight and do whatever they can to make this not be a murder and to make this an accident. They're going to spend any news media they can do. They all in the government, and they got so many political powers. They are fighting tooth and nail, to prove that this was an accident. It was all Nolan's fault.
They have seen something there that they're trying to hold on to from an evidentiary value. Remember, the state still has an ongoing investigation in this case, and they see evidentiary value in this. And yes, I know that the second autopsy prosector up in D.C. would have liked to have seen this, but he understands this, why they would retain it. And it is being retained, I can promise you that, as are other tissue samples. But the problem is that when you get into these structures.
Can I ask y'all a question? Did Mississippi ever come out and say the reason why? I have heard everybody and their mama tell us the reason why they would do it, the reason why they could do it, and they're just giving their opinions, right? But did Mississippi ever come out and tell you verbatim, I held it because of X, Y, and Z? Did they do that, y'all? Let me know in the comments.
The neck, one of the things you're trying to assess is, was this a drowning? Also, is there any kind of trauma? If people will just put their hands right here in the midline of your neck, you'll feel that kind of cartilaginous body there. That's cartilage, right? That can be fractured. Need I remind you, Epstein, right? So you have to examine this. Also, here's our word, Nancy. They're talking about the hyoid is missing as well. So they don't have that.
Show me Joe Scott Morgan, because show me Joe Scott. You and I, hyoid, we know what it is because you and I have handled a ton of asphyxiation, ligature, manual strangulations, you name it. Hyoid, explain. So delicate.
Yes. Yeah, and it's very, very far up the neck, Nancy. And one of the things that happens is that with the hyoid, it's generally only traumatized as a result of direct pressure that's generally applied by a throttling event or a C-clamp like this, throttling meaning like this, so manual strangulation. And an outlier here is ligature strangulation, but primarily hands-on. So they're looking for little fractures in here all along the way. So,
ooh, I don't know about y'all, but he grabbing his throat. Honey, I'm grabbing my throat at the same damn time. Anybody grabbing their throat? He doing that to his throat. I almost choked on my own spit. Okay? That is how my nerves are so damn bad with this shit, y'all. Man, when I tell you, and I'm looking in the comments, and they are telling me, they said, Gigi, I said, what? They said, no, Mississippi, state of Mississippi have not came out and officially said they held the neck for X, Y, and Z. All you hear is the social media propaganda telling us why they would and how it's common or uncommon for them to hold it. But Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, have yet to come out and give us effing answers why they held the neck, okay? They acting very elitist. They're not working with the community. I expect the state of Mississippi to work with the community. I expect the state of Mississippi to talk and fellowship with their community. After all, don't they supposed to be working for the people of America? Hello? We are Americans, and I deserve more respect. Do we need to have a town hall meeting in Mississippi about this shit? I think we should. I think we should have a town hall meeting in Mississippi about this. Every 3 to 4 days, we're going to have a hall town meeting, and the sheriff and the medical examiner, they let us know exactly what they're doing behind the scenes when it comes to the toxicology and all that. This shouldn't be taking so long. They are stalling. They are holding that neck hostage. You hear me? They are up to no good.
That has to be dissected along with there's a couple of other structures that you look at as well. They've held on to this for some reason. I don't have the answer for that, but I can tell you it's being preserved. I don't know if they're getting further consultation on their end, that is the state. And I'm sure that... Yeah.
Stop. Joe Scott, you're giving me so much information. Let me tell everybody, if they don't know who you are, why you're here tonight. Okay? Joe Scott Morgan is a death investigator. He has investigated over 10,000 death scenes of all natures. You've only got a few choices. You've got homicide, suicide, accident, natural causes like a heart attack, and unexplained. Tonight, we've got 2 unexplained medical examiner's reports.
Yeah.
Why? We don't have the lungs in a potential drowning case. Why? We don't have the neck in a potentially, as you said, throttling.
This some bullshit, y'all. You know why? Can I tell you why this some bullshit right here? And I'm sorry I got to cuss. Because if it was a drowning, they'll send the body with that neck. They'll send the body with the lungs and say, see, you see the water in the lungs? You see the motherfucking neck? Ain't nothing wrong with the neck. So the boy drowned. They wouldn't have nothing to hide. They'd be like, here, take this, take it. It's obvious right here, right? But clearly it ain't no drowning. Clearly ain't just no random accident. That's why they hiding this shit. Hello? That's why they hiding it. Okay? See, they don't want us to rise up and march on Mississippi, baby. They already know this is going to be, once the truth comes out, all hell going to break loose in Mississippi. And the people at the top, like we could, no. We could not afford a fallout in Mississippi. We going to have to lie. And after 20, 30, 40 years, we'll come out and we'll tell the truth so we can be free and we can go to heaven. But right now, we're going to have to lie. We're going to have to figure this shit out. We're going to have to use AI to make it a fucking accident and let this shit smooth over because we cannot afford to have a protest or nothing in Mississippi. That's what they up to right now. I tell you what they up to. That's what it is.
Case. Why? Yeah. Those are the 2 main things I want to see. Joe Scott Morgan, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, with a world-class criminal procedure department. I've toured it myself. He's the author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, and he is the star of a hit podcast, Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan, and so much more, but that would take the whole program. Joe Scott, really? With allegations floating, very incendiary allegations of lynchings, of throttlings, of ligatures. The main thing I want to see, the lungs and the neck, and they're both missing. I have a problem.
I got a problem too, Nancy. And you know what, Nancy? Now you know damn well, if I'm the state of Mississippi, and y'all accusing me of lynching a black boy, if y'all accusing me of doing some KKK ritual of a black boy, do you know how fast I'm going to show you the fucking lungs and his neck and say, here it is. It's water in his lungs, y'all. He drowned. It's in the story. Here it is. I give you the body. It ain't going to be no waiting. It ain't going to be no la and I'm going to be silent. And I can't talk. And I don't got nothing to hide. That's transparency. I thought that's what Mississippi and the Republicans stood on, honesty and transparency and putting Americans first. Press 5 if they run on putting the fucking Americans first. Nolan Wales is an American. His parents was an American. They paid that American tax dollar, but they're not putting Nolan Wales American first. You know why? Because they putting them white boys first. That's what it is. That's what the hell it is. They want to preserve their life. They want to preserve their freedom, okay? They need them white boys out here to procreate, to bring more white babies so their numbers can go up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. all connects. And then these are not low-born white boys. These are high-born white boys. Do you know the difference between a high-born and a low-born? Do you know it's more valuable than a high-born? Come on now. Y'all don't know about the low-borns and high-borns? Ooh, I'm going to have to teach you. Come on now. Come on.
Well, I don't know that the lungs are necessarily missing. Let me tell you how this works. They have done sections of the lungs at the ME's office in Mississippi. Now, the one thing that is included in this report relative to the second autopsy that's been released.
You know what, Frank? You ain't shit. Frank, you ain't shit. I gotta laugh at your white ass, Frank. Frank gonna say, must be smoking some good crack. You racist piece of shit. Okay. See. I don't mean to laugh at Frank, but this shit is hilarious. Cause they think we all smoking that shit, okay? They see we all smoking that shit. I ain't never touched no drugs a day of my life. I ain't never had no drugs. I ain't never had no alcohol. And it's sad, Frank, that you stereotype with your racist ass, okay? Oh, God.
Is that the doctor here, who is a fantastic doctor, highly credentialed, knows what he is doing, former chief medical examiner for DC, he is stating that he has taken tissue samples. He repeats this over and over again in the report. He submitted this for his own histology. Why is that important? Well, if you get into the lungs, that lung tissue, and he can identify it even in it, I'm going to be real graphic here. It arrived in a bag, okay? So he would have to pick through this, find lung tissue in there, and then sample that. And he's going to be looking microscopically for signs of drowning there, and he'll make his own assessment. One of the things I'm concerned about, Nancy, and I hope that they did this down in Mississippi, is that when they did this initial examination, did they do diatom testing, which is you're looking for these little bits of algae that are distinct to both freshwater and saltwater. And if you find that within the system, that's also an indication that the individual may have been submerged and taken on water. So right now we've got
Okay, I see you, baby. Somebody in the comment section said, and sorry to cut you off, this is important. They are trying to push an agenda saying that Nolan drinks alcohol. You saw the white boy Warren on the Republican, what's his name, Brandon Totem. You saw on him, Warren was like, yeah, Nolan was drinking. He made sure to tell us that Nolan was drinking alcohol. But it's a lie. Warren is a lie. Nolan do not drink alcohol. And you just saw a white person accuse me of doing sugar boogers. Somehow I do some crack. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never did nothing like that. I ain't never smoked no fucking weed. Do you hear what I'm saying? A blunt never touched my lips. Okay? So no. But they always accuse black people of doing drugs. Okay? They always. Y'all need to stop that.
a lot of questions, but as the second doctor says, this is all still pending investigation.
I'm trying to digest and make sense of everything Joe Scott Morgan just told me. But what I know is that I don't have the lungs and a potential drowning, and I don't have the neck and a potential throttling, as he called it. And again, Joe Scott, we don't have evidence of any strangulation, be it manual or ligature, except that deep red discoloration. And I read in the autopsy report, it was about 12 by 8. How can that be? Explain to me what they're talking about.
Yeah, can we please put that drawing up that the doc rendered there? You know something interesting about that mark, Nancy? This thing has got kind of, as he has drawn it out here, that red indication that he's done with a pen on this anatomical diagram. Nancy, that's got what is referred to as kind of specific margins, doesn't it? It almost appears as though there is a pattern there, and it extends. If folks at home will take their hand and put it on that kind of bony prominence in the back of your head, that's called your occiput. Okay, that's where the occipital bone is. So it looks like it's just beneath there. So right along that edge, this thing's got margins. It almost looks like it could potentially have a pattern, hard to say, but do you see how he has it drawn out there? It's almost like a rectangular shape. When you talk about decomposition, which he does extensively here, and he says he can't make a full assessment because of the status of the decomposition. Decomposition is what's called diffuse. That means it kind of spreads out randomly. What he has drawn there, at least from his estimation there, or his rendering that he's done there, puts margins on this thing. You got a top end, a bottom end, and then you got sides.
Okay, all that said, what does it mean? Because to me, Dr. Kendall Crowns, who I respect deeply, by the way, suggested it was blood pooling. I'm not buying that because it's nowhere else. We don't see that anywhere else on the body. Hey, Caitlin Becker joining me, senior national correspondent, New York Post. She is a star of New York Postcast, like podcast, but postcast. Caitlin, thanks for being with us tonight. Caitlin, I had it out with Dr. Kendall Crowns yesterday. He has superior knowledge, so I was at a disadvantage, but I'm still sticking to my guns. I don't see how the blood in his body can pool in one location on the whole back of his body, even if he's laying on his back. Hold. Brian Trasher, Vice President, United Cajun Navy. Brian, isn't it true that when Nolan was found, he was face down, repeat, face down on the beach, just at the water's edge? And let's see the aerial video when I'm talking to Brian so everybody can see what he's talking about. Go ahead, Brian.
Yes, ma'am. He was face down on the beach right at the water's edge. I'm not sure if he was spotted still floating and they brought him in, or if he washed up right there, but I can only describe where I saw him as we flew over the island.
Brian Trasher, based on the photo that I received from an undisclosed source, he was face down, almost as if he were asleep, with one leg slightly out to the side. Okay, face down. Do you agree with that, Brian?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Okay, back to Caitlin Becker, senior national correspondent, New York Post, star of New York Postcast. Caitlin, what can you tell me about claims that his body was sent to the second autopsy, the independent autopsy, face down?
There seems to be a lot of questions about how Nolan's body was received, found, sent. If he was sent face down, that also doesn't make sense to me for the claim that it would be blood pooling in the back of his head, because if he's face down, wouldn't blood pool just by nature of gravity this way if he was found face down? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. But as I was listening to you and Joseph Scott Morgan talk, I don't know the terrain here, but if they're keeping the throat for potential throttling and you see this mark on the back of the head, if you're thinking in terms of someone's head pressed up against it, if there's something behind my head and you're pressing me this way, but by not knowing the manner or cause of death, we're kind of jumping to a conclusion there. So it just seems like every single layer, there is more questions than answers. And the mark on the back of the head, and not seeing in the autopsy report that there were really marks or signs of trauma anywhere else, was really particularly curious. Why just there? What caused it? And we don't really have those answers about whether or not there was significant trauma to the flip of that, to the front, because as you said, throat wasn't sent for the second autopsy.
So back to you, Joe Scott Morgan. I'm going to bring in the rest of the panel in just one moment. Joe Scott, how could the deep reddened markings at the back of the head, the occipital, how could that come from the blood sinking down post-mortem? It just, first he was face down, so it would sink to the blood would go to his face. That would be the lowest point. But after that, After he's dead for a period of days, I don't see how the blood could then continue to pool in a different direction. And we are getting reports that he was sent to to the second autopsy face down. I find that hard to believe, but that's according to reports.
Yeah.
Damn. Face down. Did you hear what Nancy said? They sent him to the second autopsy face down. Press 1 if Nancy just said that. And do you guys remember it was 2 black girls that came out, and the white racists really tried to disrespect those black girls. They said when they saw Nolan, his face looked like it was burnt and he had bruises on his body. And mind you, this is when they first saw him. And they transported him face down. Didn't she say that? Press 5, didn't those black girls say that? Do y'all remember that? Don't make me go look it up and bring it to y'all. Press 10 if you want me to bring that shit to y'all and look it up, because you know I will. Don't test me. Okay?
And so understand this, with decomposition, okay? It's like I said, it's going to be diffuse. And this second autopsy, I don't know if people are aware of this, but you can read through the report itself, and it's very, it's very, very graphic in the sense that this doctor that did the...
And I used to be official when I was a little girl. You gotta be...
He did such an extensive dissection here. I'm talking about stuff that we don't normally do at autopsy. He's done the back, he's done the buttocks, he's done the backs of the legs, the arms, the hands, even the back of the head. He took this even further than the people in Mississippi did. And this is something that we normally do, so folks understand, this is something we normally do with an in-custody death, all right? Where it is this extensive, and he doesn't see anything.
All right, so I'm going to bring it here. And all the racists was like, no, she's lying. You know racists going to say lies about anything because they lie all day, right? Do y'all remember these ladies? Press 2 if you remember these ladies. Do y'all remember these ladies? Yep. They said that the body was transported face down too. Nancy just said that's how they sent it to the autopsy. So they weren't telling y'all right. I know my black girls, not always, but in this situation, they're going to tell the truth. They don't got nothing to lie about. Okay, when they're getting justice of their own men, their own black boys, they're not going to lie about that. Okay, I know that. So let's hear it. I don't know if this is the whole thing, but let's see.
Transporting him, he was actually face down. So everyone knows when you're transporting.
Bam! Did you hear that? Press 7 if you heard that. Damn! Right out the gate. Bam! They said face down. Bam! Right out the gate. Ooh,
they were transporting him. He was actually face down. So everyone knows when you're transporting the body, only a couple of people work that job. They all know you don't transport the body face down. That's kind of very disrespectful. So you always have them faced up. Well, specifically his body for whatever reason was face down. And me personally, I take that as disrespect.
Yeah.
Heart goes out to the family.
Yes, definitely.
Because all we know is what they put out
on the internet.
But today, we actually found out a lot about his autopsy without even reading the autopsy.
Yeah.
They were transporting him.
Whew. Let me see. That's just a little bit. I don't know if
The warning to the
transporting him. He was actually face down. So everyone knows when you're transporting the body, the heart goes out to the family.
So sorry that family had to go through this. Really just
want to give our condolences to the family. Because we know, right, what really happened.
Right. So.
And at the end of the day, whatever lies those families have covered up, or whatever lies they're trying to cover, we're sorry. Yeah. And we're here for you. And we just want you to know that what was seen today was unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. And that's why we want to...
You've seen something so heartbreaking, in no way, shape, or form. Because if I can feel the way I feel about this situation, just listening to what happened, mistreated. Yeah, it looked abused.
I,
To the information
in the beginning, they talk about how the body look abused and all that. Listen, listen.
that we're going to be listening to, please do not watch this video, y'all.
All right, so we want to talk about Nolan Wells today. So today, we actually know someone that works transporting bodies, things like that. So today I got a call from that person, and they were just talking about the body that they came across. So it's Nolan Wells. So before knowing all that, he said that the body was mistreated. Yeah, it looked abused. It looked like he was tortured. Looked as if he was.
Did you hear that? Looked abused, looked like it was tortured. My God. That trauma in the back of his head was from somebody beating upside the head. I don't know if they went pow with one bar or what. So he got beat, y'all. And Nolan, he's not a fighter. Did y'all see Nolan, how so nice and light and a bully would love to look at Nolan as lunch. You know what I'm saying? A white bully that's a racist and ain't going nowhere in life. They look at happy ass, black ass Nolan in a mix of their people. And remember, they all drunk, right? Them racists all drunk on that goddamn Devil Horn Island and got the devil in them. And like, ooh, I'm gonna get his ass, you know? So yeah, this is what they did, honey.
Burnt, maybe? Where? Face, body, said he's burnt.
And not only that, his body was mistreated when they transported him.
So as they were transporting him.
All right, y'all. So I told you, I tell you no lies. Anything I say, you know I can back it up like a Mack truck, okay? I can go anywhere, okay? If y'all want me to pull something up, you know I can. All it takes is a second.
From a hemorrhagic standpoint, like direct trauma, the big question is this pattern on the back of his head. And I'm calling it a pattern because the way he's demonstrated this with his diagram on the back of this thing. And he doesn't go into great detail about that in the autopsy report. So how did it get there?
What I want to know is all these witnesses are right there. Brian Trasher, don't, like planes, have a tail number? Can't you identify who these boats are by their markings, by their numbers, by their identification? They've got names written on the side. They've got tail numbers, so to speak. Have all of these people been brought in? I mean, tell me how to identify a boat and how to locate the driver and bring them in for questioning about what happened that day. Because listen, Brian, the friends say we left him with Katie. Katie apparently has been found and says, no, he left with his friends. Okay, right there, I've got a problem. How did everybody leave Gilligan on the island waving, hey, I'm here, and they all left him? I find that hard to believe. I've got to find out what precipitated him going into the water and how that fits in with the marking on the back of his neck. Do you see where I'm going, Trasher?
Absolutely. And yes, to answer your first question, you know, some of these boats, just by the names, people that name the boats, and if you can detect registration numbers, if it's registered in the state of Mississippi, that's easy to find. I'm told that over 60 people have been interviewed by law enforcement. I don't know who they are or how they were brought in, but there was a lot of interviews that have been conducted. And I'm assuming there's going to be more. With regards to, you know, what happened, that's always been the question. That's why his parents want to know. There's just absolute black hole from about 4:30 p.m. on July 4th until he washed up Monday morning, where nobody seems to know anything. Nobody seems to have seen anything. There's conflicting stories, as you pointed out, from his friends and people that saw him that day about who he was supposed to leave with. Did he want to stay back? All that. It's all hearsay. It's all secondhand. There is a massive hole in the story. And that's why this has gotten national attention that it's gotten. As far as the markings on his head, I mean, I was told by some of the people who recovered the body that it was obvious he'd come in contact with marine life while he was in the water. I'm not sure if that's possible explanation of those markings. I'm just telling you what I thought, so experts can weigh in on it.
Okay, Brian, Brian, hold on. Joe Scott, I'm going to try to get a quick answer from you on that because it's valid. What Trasher just said is valid because if his body had been attacked by marine life, fish, turtles, whatever, that would be all over the body. What we're talking about is deep reddening of tissue, subcutaneous tissue on the back of the head, unlike the rest of the body. So that is not the same as the decomp on the rest of the body. Why is it so hard for everybody to get? We've got a problem with the back.
Because, Nancy, they know it's a problem, Nancy, but their whole agenda is to protect the white boys. The whole agenda is to protect the state of Mississippi, no matter what. So they're going to keep on saying, well, the fish ate him up. It was the sun that burned him. He was drunk and he went out there by himself. He was dealing with depression. He didn't want to be here anymore. They're going to come up with so much bullshit. That's what they do. That's what they always do. Nancy don't get it. They are doing this shit on purpose, Nancy. Hell, they're doing this on purpose. Just like a lawyer. When you have a lawyer and they know their client is guilty, aren't they going to try to make it seem like push a doubt where their client going to walk free, even though they know their client is guilty? That's what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with honest people. We're not dealing with people with high morals and values. They claim they got them, but they don't got them.
Of the head, it's marked unlike any other part of his body. And you said something very significant, Joe Scott Morgan, that the original medical examiner kept the throat for a reason. Did she keep the hand, the fingers, the toes? No, because they weren't probative. They didn't prove anything. The neck proved something. What? What did the neck prove? That's where I'm going. Help me.
Yeah, well, either to include or exclude any kind of trauma that could have impeded his ability to breathe. There's another part to this, Nancy, that I forgot to mention relative to the neck. We have what are called strap muscles that kind of lay over the center part of the neck. What do we look for there? Well, that's also where we see hemorrhage relative to any kind of pressure that's applied there. You'll see those. The doctor doesn't mention anything about strap muscles because I think that those were probably retained as well. Now, back to the sea life. I'm from Louisiana. I can tell you what type of sea life would have affected his body. And if the body was right there on the shore, it would be crabs. And the reason I know that is because this is where they kind of feed, if you will. All right.
All right. So someone says they think Katie's brother did it because they were involved with each other. Time out. They just met. Press 1 if the white girl and Nolan just met that day. Press 5 if they've been dating. If they've been dating, then we should have pictures with them together. If they've been dating, then shit, everybody would know that's Nolan's girlfriend. But clearly, that's not what it is. So which one is it? Because I heard they just met that day. Now, is that a lie or is that the truth? Let me know. And Katie better bring her white ass to the forefront because the white boys keep on blaming Katie. And Katie is being quiet. Katie, your ass being too motherfucking quiet, girl. You better come up here or all this shit gonna turn on you, Katie. Don't wait till it's too late. Katie, you should be up talking to Oprah, talking to Gail, your last interaction with Nolan Wells. What you hiding, Katie? We gonna start looking at your ass strange if you get too quiet.
So you don't hear any mention by the second medical examiner talking about any kind of degrading of the body as a result of contact with marine life that's feasting in a post-mortem state.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. If you are a homeowner, you probably thought
a huge investigation. It already is. One of the questions that I've seen online about the friends is that.
So let me ask y'all, is this Nolan on his boat with this white man? Press 1 if this is Nolan on his boat. Press 2 if this is not Nolan on his boat. If this is Nolan on his boat, who boat is he on? Who is that white man? Why haven't that white man came forward? I thought this was a place for a whole bunch of young kids that's drinking. Why that old white man with all these young kids? Is he a pedo? Is this like Epstein Island? Huh? Is this the Epstein Island of Mississippi? Horn Island? I think it is. It might be the Epstein Island of Mississippi, honey. Okay? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it goes down in the Mississippi. Okay? So, what's going on with that white dude? Why he on that boat? Do you just hop your ass on anybody's boat? I mean, what is it? I mean, was he just crossing to get to the other side? What was Nolan doing on the little daddy boat? What is that? Is this Katie daddy? What is it? Y'all, it's too many questions. What are y'all? Katie was she was there at the pool party, and then the white boys, after trying to get rid of the body. Some people say it was Katie dad or ex. Katie got an ex-boyfriend that old? It looks like Nolan, but can't be for sure. It's shocking that level of stupidity in this case is startling. Let's go.
Why did they leave him? But let me ask you something hard. Those that are saying that. Look what we're talking about. We're not talking about hardened men. These are teenagers. They're kids. They're 18, 19 years old on the water on the 4th of July. And what happens when a teenager experiences something traumatic? They freeze, they panic, they go numb. Sometimes they cry, sometimes they don't. But what they're not experts at, like, dredging the waterways. And I know that the family wants answers from the friends. And I get that. And one of the family members said, are they getting their lies straight? When they went back to the mainland and called for a cab. But, we don't know what happened yet. And one of the things that I'm really looking forward to seeing is the data from the cell phones, right? Because that'll tell us exactly where everybody was at what point in time, and including, hopefully, the victim. Now, that's another question. How did they obtain the victim's phone? Well, it was in one of the hands of his friends. So how did that come there? So there are a lot of answers. There's a lot of questions here, Nancy, that we need answers to. And right now, we don't know if it was an
Yeah, they talking about this. They said, well, everybody leave their phone on a boat. Well, nigga, if everybody leave their phone on a boat, and your friend Nolan's gonna stay on the island, then since everybody leave their phone on a boat, wouldn't you say, well, if you're gonna stay here, then take your motherfucking phone? Because everybody leave their phone on the boat. That's just what we do. So take your phone and your keys if you're gonna stay here then. Don't that make sense? Huh? Ain't that common? I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's phone and keys. Take your shit. I don't want to be responsible for your phone and keys unless you personally say, can you keep my phones and keys? And I'm going to say, why do you want me to keep your phone and keys? Why? I'm going to think you're trying to set me up. I don't want your phone and keys. You keep your phone and keys. You're going to be responsible for your shit. It's hard enough I got to be responsible for my own shit. I don't want to have to be responsible for yours and lose your shit. Then you're going to blame me. No, get your shit. I don't want to hold nobody's stuff. I do not.
Accident. We don't know if it was a death. We just don't know.
Caitlin Becker, who called who that night? Did mom call the friends? Did the friends call the mom? How did mom end up looking for Nolan?
It seems like mom was on the case pretty immediately when Nolan didn't. She had him on Life 360. So I think that became the biggest kind of issue of where's my.
No, New York. New York talking about something. It's so many different phones. I don't know who it is. It don't matter. It can be 100 phones. you already know if you're staying on the island, then their phone is on that boat. So it doesn't matter. It's the fact that I'm going to let you know, get your phone off the boat and your keys and take it with you. Because anybody on this boat can steal your shit, right? Hello? Press 7. If anybody on that boat can steal his stuff, they can steal your phone, they can steal your keys. If I'm your friend, I'm going to say, well, you need to get your stuff because it can end up missing. It's a lot of people on these boats, allegedly, right? Now, it's a lot of people on a fucking boat. Anybody can steal your shit, okay? So get your shit. All right? Yeah, that's about. Ain't nobody going to say, take my shit and I get it on land. Why do anybody want to be responsible for your phone? No. You take it. You take it. That's just dumb. Oh, you just take my phone and keys, go 2 hours away on a boat, on the water, and I just get it. I'll meet you. No, because you're gonna have to try to track me down. I might be in bed with a honey. No. You keep your shit. You keep your stuff. No, that's a setup. That's funny.
And where's his phone? And the only thing she could go off of is where's his phone, which she could locate through kind of Life 360 where it was pinged. So it seemed like she was on the hunt for the phone there. And from all of the accounts that we've been reporting on, the phones were left on the boat because they didn't take them to the shore. However, you can see all of those people were back and forth on the boat. So clearly they were using them, but the phone was on the boat that went back.
Time out. And they were using the phones. You know why? Can I tell you why? It's because you saw so many video footage of them on the boat taking photos. Wasn't they on the boat using their photos on the damn boat? I mean, how did you get pictures of them riding on a boat? When they're on the boat, they're recording themselves on the boat. We have seen tons of people in the lake, in the ocean, on the motherfucking boat, recording themselves, taking pictures. And we have, how else did we get the video of the alleged Nolan on that white man's boat? Somebody was using their phone. So it was plenty of people using their phones on that island recording. That's how we got the recording. So don't play me like ain't nobody using their phone on the island. That's a damn lie. They would stand on their phone, taking videos, taking pictures, doing this and doing that, and exchanging and doing all that other stuff. Okay, let's not play.
Without Nolan first. So it seems that the friends took the phone with them to their house, and then what happened with it between then and when his mom got it seemed to be the question of where it was and who was touching it, who was using it, what was done on it. But it seems like the location on the Life 360 is how mom tracked down the phone when she realized that her son wasn't where he needed to be.
So that night, Nolan doesn't come home.
I got another question, y'all. Tell me this. Warren says, okay, when I was there at the island, I didn't hang out with Nolan all day. I was speaking to old friends and I was doing this, I was doing that. I probably had a few conversations with him, but Warren painted a situation where he didn't even hang out with Nolan that much. The day of July the 4th, Warren painted, he didn't even hang out with him that much. He was doing other stuff. So my question is, who is hanging out with Nolan? Was anybody hanging out with Nolan? Did they isolate Nolan? When they got there, were they treating Nolan like shit? Like, who was Nolan hanging out with majority of the time on July the 4th? Can y'all answer that for me? On that beach, who was Nolan hanging out with the most? Was it Katie? Who was he hanging out with the most on that beach? Usually when you go to 4th of July, you're going to be hanging out with someone, right? You're going to tag with your buddy, or are y'all saying that Nolan, he was just a loner? Let me know. Who is he hanging out with majority of the day?
Christine starts looking for him. She is a family nurse practitioner. She starts looking for him. She looks on Life 360 and follows it. You can get that on Life 360. Show me the route to the phone. And she did that to the friend's house that had all been out to Horn Island. And she's like, and she goes, where's Nolan? His phone's here, but he's not here. And they go, yeah, it's out there in the truck. So they wait 15 minutes to go get the phone and come back with it. Everybody's just sitting there in the dark watching TV. Nobody said, hey, where's Nolan?
That's weird as hell. Were y'all sitting in the dark watching TV on July the 4th? Press 2, July the 4th, you were sitting in the dark watching TV. July the 4th, where you doing that? Or press 7 if you was out celebrating. These are 18, 19-year-olds. You know you out popping fireworks or doing something or hanging out or doing something, but they felt guilty, okay, because they already knew what they did.
Nobody said that until she came over looking for the phone?
Which could kind of point to, if I'm hearing it, it could kind of point to two things. I knew there's a huge faction online saying, what are they doing? What are they covering up? What are they hiding? But then on the flip of that, just to play devil's advocate, if you don't think there's anything wrong with your friend, if you assumed your pal was in another boat with another group of friends, why would you even think to be concerned about that until his mom comes knocking at the door and says, where's my son? So, I mean, like the teen behavior, it reminds me so much of the teen or the young people in the Idaho murder.
Time out. But didn't they call the mom and say your son is missing? He was with this girl named Katie, and we think Katie is missing too. Wasn't it the boys that initiated that he was missing? Right? Press 1 if it was the boys that initiated he was missing. Press 5 if it was a mother that initiated he was missing. Let me know.
Looking at them to be like, why are they not reacting the way you would think someone would react in a situation? And while the circumstances are so wildly different, I think we have to remember that we're talking about, teenagers here, and teenagers who were leaving in a large group, who admittedly were drinking, who were partying in 3 separate boats. So I think it might have been easy to lose track of one another. That doesn't explain anything, though. That doesn't explain why no one, not of one person out of that 20 to 30 said to themselves, where the heck is Nolan? I mean, if you and I were out with 20 to 30 of our friends, someone at some point probably would have scratched their head and said, where's Nancy? Have you heard from Nancy all day? If it had gone to that point of the night.
I assume his phone had a password. There are certain things that you need the password to do, such as delete activity. But if you don't have a password and you pick up your phone, if you're touching the screen, that leaves a trace. If you're trying to power it off, that leaves a trace. So we should be able to see people without a password trying to actively interact with that phone, as well as someone that has it. So we would do a forensic acquisition, and that's really important here. Someone just looking in the phone, you can get a glimpse, but you can't see what's deleted and hiding below the surface. We need a forensic acquisition to do that. We can tell if it was just soft deleted, so like sitting in a trash can, or a hard delete. So if you empty your trash on your phone and then you go and throw it into a dumpster and the trash is taken away, there is a log that tracks everything. Also with timestamps on when that activity occurred. If you get a full file system acquisition, and I realize that's really nerdy, but this is where acquisition and time to evidence matters. Deleted data exists and sits there for a period of time. So time to evidence is everything here. Apple's more forgiving, and you have about 30 days. With Android, you could have just a few days until location artifacts are purged.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. Please join us on Crime Stories and stream it first on Attorney. Is that correct?
From what we understand, our reporting says the exact same thing, that the district attorney is dealing with everything. This is going to go to a grand jury, which we understand is very typical, especially in this area. I think it's typical pretty much everywhere. If you have a suspicious unnatural death, that something would go to a grand jury. The local police do seem like they may have jumped the gun in calling this a simple drowning with however exactly that they worded it, just a drowning with no foul play suspected. That doesn't say there was no foul play at all, or there couldn't be, or they're not investigating. But to just write this off as no foul play suspected off the bat, I think got everyone's kind of hackles up.
It was racism. They did it because it was a black dead boy. If this was a white boy or a white girl, somebody they cared about, they would look more deeper into it. Trust and believe me, okay? That's what this is about, I tell you. And people are saying all around that it all started when that damn argument. Give me my phone. Give me my effing phone. That argument, people are saying that's what started it, honey. Ooh. So if I was to play in my mind and say, okay, Gigi, that's what started. So what happened? I would say, well, shit. They had an argument. It had something to do with Nolan. And they got into it. These boys are drinking. Like Warren said, everybody drinking alcohol and whatever. And they got physical. And they possibly did a oopsie daisy and cracked his ass in the head, And trying to cover it up from then. When did they crack his ass in the head? I have no idea. If they cracked him in the head, what did they do with that body? Did they keep that body on the shore? Or they hurry up and speed and took the body back? I don't know. Did they take the body back where they were like, okay, well, maybe we can save him? Like, are you okay, Nolan? Maybe we can save him. Maybe he was like in a phase, in and out. So they was driving back to that ocean or whatever, to their land. And then they had to make those different stops because they was going to figure out what's going to happen, what they're going to do with the body. They said they have to make a pack. Don't you know, like, I Know What You Did Last Summer and all that shit? You see them movies. It'd be a group of teenagers or young adults and they unalive somebody, and it could be they didn't mean to, but it happened, and they want to cover it up because they don't want to go to jail. They have their whole life pending on them, so they try to get their family involved, and their family is helping covering this up, hoping that it would just all go away. So I feel like something like that happened. Definitely something like that. So how did they get back to the bar? I would reckon, hell, they got a lot of boats. They know a lot of people. They got a lot of money. They went back over there and put that shit back in the water and put that body back in that water, that morning. Because the researchers, they've been looking for that body. They looked on the 5th. It was not there. And I believe, they was working with the people at the top to place the body at a certain time and then discover it. And they already got everybody in place, the medical examiners in place, the sheriff's in place. The sheriff ruled it no foul play suspected. They wanted just to put it a drowning, an accident. I'm sure their family then paid the sheriff and people big money, probably gave them a big donation behind the scenes to keep this shit up a wrap. And they probably felt like, if it was an accident, there's no need for the white boys to go to jail to mess up their life and mess up their record. They have their whole future ahead of themselves, So we want to cover this up, and it's tragedy. And but they was not expecting it to hit media. Social media really F up a lot of racist people and a lot of people. This damn social media. Ooh, see, if we didn't have social media, they can get away with a whole bunch of shit, right? But social media, it gives the most people that don't have the power or the money, it gives them a voice. So, yeah. All right, let's go.
And I think that's particularly something that the family didn't want to hear. You have a strong swimmer, young guy, athletic person who went out, didn't come home, and no one had saw him struggling. You didn't see him go in the water and struggle. That's a simple drowning. We saw someone go in, we tried to help, they drowned. That to me is a case closed, simple drowning. But now the feds are involved and the FBI is involved. perhaps because there is more to it than it seems.
Right. Josh Colesrud, I got a question for you. The FBI is now.
And mind you, they scrubbed that boat 1 o'clock in the morning. It was Nolan shit. And I think they was probably in a fight, grabbed that neck, and they pushed him back, and he hit his head on that boat, the edge of that boat. Bam! He hit that back of the head on the edge of the boat, and that's why you see that trauma. And the white boys like, shit, we didn't mean to do it, but we got into it, and I was drinking, and he was drinking, and, one thing just led to another. But now it's time to cover it up and lie for it because they feel like it's no need for them to destroy their life because they made an accident, And then they feel like, listen, Mississippi don't need this right now. Okay, it's a casualty for one black boy dead, but isn't that better, one black boy dead versus Mississippi going to hell? Like all this political shit in Mississippi. And then right now, the Republican Party does not need this type of rhetoric, during the time where they're trying to get voted in. It's too much. The country doesn't need this right now. So they feel like it's best to cover this up for the sake of America. That is how they're going to rationalize it. That is how they're going to push the agenda. For the sake of America, we have to bury this and we have to say it was an accident. I don't give a fuck how we do it. It was an accident. It was a drowning. And let this go away. We're going to have to figure it out. We're going to have to stall them out. But this is for the sake of America, and America has to go first. It's sad that the black boy died, but guess what? Things happen. And these people just need to get over it, okay? That's how they be thinking, ain't it? Press 3 if I'm telling the truth. That's how they be thinking, y'all. That's what goes on in the background.
Part of this investigation. That is significant. The FBI is only brought in under certain circumstances. That is within the state jurisdiction. And this thing has mushroomed from no foul play suspected to the DA is handling all of this. And I'd like to point out that the sheriff was not responding. Well, guess what, everybody? When I would be besieged by reporters when I was prosecuting case, you're not at liberty to comment on an ongoing investigation as much as we on the outside looking in feel stymied. I'm surprised the law enforcement officer even stopped to talk to the journalist, WDSU, because they shouldn't be revealing evidence. So don't make it look like he's hiding in his office. He should not be revealing evidence. That said, address. This is now at the district attorney level, and the FBI is in. That's what I need you for, Colesrud.
All right, I saw that. Why are y'all hiding it? I'm so lost. Can y'all please explain to me? If we're supposed to be all a community, the state of Mississippi, we all Americans, and it's nothing to hide because like you said, Sheriff, it was no foul play. So why are you hiding shit? Why aren't you at liberty to say, why can't you tell us what your update is? Why can't you tell the people? We're talking about transparency. We're supposed to be all a big family. We're all Americans. We all love each other. We're one big fucking family. So why ain't the people at the top telling us what the hell going on? Huh? See, that ain't no fucking family, and that ain't transparency. That is control. You do what I tell you to do. It's given that. And that ain't love.
Yeah, so great question. So let's separate the two. The district attorney works for the state. The FBI works for the U.S. Attorney's Office. Now, just because there's a homicide does not make this a federal case. So ask yourselves, why would the FBI be?
Somebody asked in the comments, how do they feel about interracial marriage? Can I role play? Press 9 if I can role play like a white person, like a racist white person. Press 9 if I got y'all permission. And I answer everybody's question. And I'm going to role play. I'm going to be a racist white person, okay? And I'll tell you how they be thinking. And let me know if I get them right. Okay, do I have y'all permission? Press 9. Press 9. Shit, if I don't have y'all permission, press 12. Hurry up now. Shit. All right. Thank you, Patrice. Okay, all right. Damn, I only get 1 9. Ooh, okay, thank you, Emma. Come on, y'all. Get your asses out the bed and press that damn 9. Shit. All right, they said, why? How do we feel? Us white folks feel about that? We're not for interracial. You know why? Because it destroys the white race. We want to preserve the white race. We want the white race to make America great again. We want bigger numbers, more populations of our whites. That's why we're going against the abortion, okay? We're going against the abortion because if we have less white bodies, then we're going to have less power. We cannot take these fucking Mexicans taking over America, taking over our shit and being the majority. And oh, hell no. Hell no. So no, we're not for it, okay? No. You stay over there. No more mixing babies, because when you mix the babies, you are killing the white race. And we need to preserve it, okay? That's how we feel about it, all right? Yeah, that part. Did I do good? What y'all think? Press 4 if I did good. Press 5 if I failed. What do y'all think? That's how they be feeling, right? Yeah, that's how they be feeling, right? Yeah. Yeah. And then, do other ones feel more? I think some may feel more disgusted by it, like it's just humane. Some people are very nasty with it. They look at black people as animals, and how could you get involved with that? And I've also heard a lot of white men, they be looking at white women that want to be with a black man, and once a white woman have been with a black man, they say that she is destroyed, she's poisoned, she's tainted. They don't want to sleep with her because she been with a black man or she desire a black man. Did y'all hear that? And I think you white men that feel that way, you're jealous. You jealous of a black man. You cannot blame that white woman for wanting a piece of that chocolate. Hell, if I was a white woman, I would want some black dick too, okay? It's amazing, okay? God, when God created black Ling Ling, I mean, that is the blueprint. A black man body is what every man inspire to have. It's a strong body. It's the most masculine body. The manhood of that body is the biggest and the strongest and the best in bed. When I tell you these black men can roll some hips in the bedroom, you cannot blame a white woman for wanting a taste of that, wanting a piece of that. That does not taint her, okay? But yeah, they're jealous. They're jealous because they can't be with a black man. That's how I feel about it, okay?
Well, there's two possible reasons. Number one, we know that the family has hired a very prominent civil rights attorney, and there might be a civil rights component here. And civil rights always includes the federal government. So if, for example, there is an allegation that the local law enforcement didn't do something, or there's a racial component to them not doing something, that, of course, can bring in the U.S. Attorney's Office. The second reason the FBI can be brought in is that this small town just needs help with its resources, right? They don't have the manpower for this type of investigation. And we've already seen that they've had a couple of missteps with the media, like you just said, where they want to be closed-lipped with the investigation without giving some type of...
It's not just missteps with the media. They said this was a natural causes accident, no foul play. That's more than a misstep.
Yeah,
That's a COD, cause of death, manner of death, okay? The FBI has been brought in to work with law enforcement. And you know what, Dr. Bethany Marshall, joining me, renowned psychoanalyst out of LA. She's an author. She's on Bravo. She's on Peacock, star of a new hit podcast, On the Couch with Dr. Bethany Marshall. You know, I don't like the way Colesrud just said that. They're from a small town. They need help. Well, you know what? Not every jurisdiction is New York, LA, Houston, Atlanta. They don't have this type of investigation all the time. So I commend them for bringing in the FBI. Okay? That said, Dr. Bethany, I want to find out if every single person has been brought in and questioned separately. I want to hear your take on what you're seeing.
All right. My idea, because me and Nancy, we live in two different worlds. Nancy loved that they brought the FBI because Nancy still believes in Mississippi. Nancy believes that, you know, this world is not so divisive. She believes in all that. I believe in reality. I believe that the FBI, and you talking about Cash Mattel, the one that's, you know, Trump FBI, you already know Trump FBI is biased. Trump FBI is going to protect Mississippi at all costs. They're not going to get justice for no goddamn black boy that's associated with Ben Crump. They cannot stand Ben Crump. They can't stand Al Sharpton. They cannot stand BLM. They can't stand none of that shit. Do you really think Trump FBI, even if it was right where the black boy did get murdered, if Trump FBI find that out, do you honestly believe they're going to be honest about it? Or do you think they're going to cover this shit up like they covered up the goddamn Epstein files? Huh? They're going to cover it up like they did the Epstein files. Like they cover up all the other criminal shit they have done. They're going to look out for their own. But then again, Andrew Tate, they said that he getting locked up and they said that Trump ain't going to help his ass out. So, you know, but he might not help his ass out, but I don't think he's going to help this black boy out. If Trump do, I will be surprised.